My beloved child, I see the deep and persistent thirst that you have been carrying within your spirit for so long. A thirst that feels like a dry and weary land where no water can be found. And I know that you have been journeying through seasons of profound loneliness while trying to quench this desperate longing in places that were never designed to satisfy the vastness of a soul like yours. You have walked through days where the silence felt overwhelming and nights where the ache in your chest kept you awake, wondering why connection feels so difficult and why your heart seems to crave a depth of love that the world around you rarely offers or understands. I am not standing at a distance judging you for this need, nor am I looking down on you for the times you tried to find comfort in temporary things. Instead, I am standing right here with arms wide open, inviting you to come to me without any shame, without any need to hide the rawness of your desire, and without the fear that I will mock the very thing that makes you human and tender. I know that you have been trying to drink from cisterns that are broken and empty, seeking validation in the eyes of people who could not see your true worth, and hoping that a little bit of attention would finally settle the trembling in your heart. But you have found that these fleeting moments only leave you thirstier than before. You have questioned if there is something wrong with you for wanting to be held, for wanting to be known, and for wanting to be cherished in a way that feels safe and permanent. Yet I want you to know that I designed that capacity for love within you. The world may have told you that you are too needy, or that you should be self-sufficient enough to never require reassurance. But I tell you that your need for love is not a flaw in your design. It is the very echo of my voice calling you back to the place where you belong. I am the living water, and I am the only one who can pour into the deepest reservoirs of your soul until you are overflowing, washing away the dust of rejection and the residue of disappointment that has clung to you for years. You have felt the exhaustion of chasing after affection, running tirelessly on a treadmill of performance where you believed that if you were just good enough, helpful enough, or quiet enough, someone would finally pause and give you the love you have been starving for. It breaks my heart to see you weary yourself for crumbs when I have prepared a banquet for you, a table set in the presence of your enemies and your doubts, where you are invited to sit and feast on a love that does not depend on your performance or your perfection. Come to me now, right in this moment of your weariness, and let me take the heavy burden of earning it off your shoulders. For you do not have to beg for what I have already freely given, and you do not have to twist yourself into shapes that do not fit you just to be accepted. I see the parched ground of your heart, and I promise that I am sending rain, a gentle and soaking rain of my presence that will soften the hardness that life has created and bring new life to the places you thought were dead and barren. There is a specific kind of pain that comes from drinking from waters that do not satisfy, a bitter aftertaste of regret and emptiness that settles in when the distraction fades, and you are left alone with your thoughts once again. But I want you to know that I am not angry with you for trying to survive. I understand that when a soul is thirsty, it will reach for whatever looks like relief. And I know that your choices were often driven not by rebellion, but by a desperate need to feel something other than the cold wind of isolation. I am here to gently guide your hand away from the cups that poison your spirit and place it into the stream of my grace, where the water is clear, cool, and capable of healing the wounds that false loves have inflicted upon you. You do not have to explain to me why you went where you went or why you stayed longer than you should have. I already know, and my response is not a lecture but a loving embrace that pulls you close and whispers, "You are safe now, and you do not have to thirst anymore." I want you to listen to the quiet rhythm of your own heart right now, and acknowledge the truth that you have been waiting for a permission slip to stop being strong, to stop pretending that you are unaffected by the distance between you and the love you desire. It is exhausting to wear the mask of independence when inside you are crying out for a connection that is real, holy, and secure. And I am here to tell you that you can drop that mask in my presence without fear of being seen as weak or broken. The thirst you feel is a signal, much like the warning light on a dashboard, telling you that your tank is empty and that you need to pull over and let me fill you up, not with the cheap fuel of worldly validation, but with the premium, eternal love that flows from my throne. You have been running on fumes for too long, pushing your spirit past the point of exhaustion. And today is the day I am calling you to a pit stop of grace, where the only requirement is that you admit you are thirsty. Do not let the enemy of your soul convince you that your thirst is a sign that you are forgotten, or that I have withheld good things from you. For that is a lie designed to keep you wandering in the desert instead of coming to the oasis I have prepared. I have allowed you to feel this dissatisfaction with the world, so that you would not settle for less than the divine romance I have written for your life. A story where you are the beloved who is pursued, known, and cherished beyond measure. If the world satisfied you completely, you would never look up to find my face, and you would never discover the depth of intimacy that is available to you when you finally stop trying to quench your thirst with things that perish. I am calling you out of the dry places, out of the relationships that drain you, and out of the habits that leave you hollow. And I am calling you into a deep and abiding communion with me where your soul can finally exhale and say, "This is what I have been looking for all along." My child, the invitation I am extending to you is not a demand for you to fix yourself before you approach me, nor is it a requirement for you to have all your emotional clutter sorted out. Rather, it is a tender call to bring your thirst directly to the source. You have been ashamed of your neediness, hiding it away like a secret sin. But I tell you that your need for love is as natural as your lungs' need for air. And I created you to be dependent on my love just as a flower is dependent on the sun. Come to me with your hands open and your defenses down, and let me pour my spirit into the cracked places of your heart until they are sealed with the gold of my redemption. I will not mock your tears, and I will not belittle your longing. Instead, I will honor your vulnerability and meet you with a love that is so wide, so long, so high, and so deep that you will finally understand that you have never been unlovable, only thirsty. You have noticed the signs of this spiritual dehydration in your life, starting with the way you crave closeness and intimacy more than you crave entertainment, or the superficial distractions that seem to satisfy everyone else around you. While others may be content with surface-level chatter and fleeting amusements, your spirit is groaning for something with weight and substance, something that touches the eternal and resonates with the deepest parts of who you are. This is not because you are difficult or demanding. It is because I have placed eternity in your heart, and you are sensing the misalignment between the depth of your soul and the shallowness of the world you inhabit. You walk into rooms full of noise and activity, yet you feel a profound solitude because your spirit is scanning the atmosphere for a connection that goes beyond the visible, a connection that speaks to the core of your identity as my child. Consider how you often feel emptier after shallow interactions, leaving social gatherings or scrolling through digital conversations with a heavy sense of disappointment, as if you have just eaten a meal made of air that provided no nourishment for your hunger. You try to engage, you try to smile, and you try to play the part of the happy participant. But as soon as the door closes and you are alone, the hollow ache returns with a vengeance, reminding you that you were made for more than polite pleasantries. This reaction is a sign that your soul is allergic to the fake and the fleeting, rejecting the artificial substitutes for love, because it knows the taste of the real thing, even if you have not experienced it fully in a long time. I have refined your palate to desire the true bread of life and the true wine of the Spirit. And that is why the stale bread of worldly socializing leaves you feeling malnourished and weary. You keep returning to prayer, even when it feels quiet, even when you don't have the right words, and even when you are not sure if I am listening, because instinctively you know that I am the only place where your soul can truly rest. This gravitational pull back to your knees is a sign of your spiritual DNA asserting itself, guiding you back to your Father's house, even when the path is dark and your emotions are tangled in knots of confusion. You may feel like your prayers are hitting the ceiling or that your faith is weak, but the very fact that you keep showing up, that you keep whispering my name in the dark, is evidence that your thirst is directing you to the wellspring of life. I see you in those quiet moments, and I treasure the way you seek me despite your doubts, for it shows a heart that refuses to give up on the promise of love. Another sign you have been carrying is a heightened sensitivity to the pain of isolation, where even a small rejection or a perceived slight can send ripples of sorrow through your entire day, making you feel unprotected and exposed. This is not because you are overly emotional, but because your heart has been stripped of the callousness that the world uses as armor, leaving you tender and open to both great love and great pain. You feel things deeply because you were designed to love deeply, and this sensitivity is actually a gift that allows you to perceive my heart and the hearts of others, though right now it feels like a burden. I want to take that tenderness and wrap it in the security of my presence, so that you can remain open without being destroyed by the carelessness of others, allowing your thirst for love to become a bridge to compassion rather than a source of suffering. You often find yourself looking at the relationships of others and wondering why it seems so easy for them to find connection, while you feel like you are speaking a different language that no one else understands. This sense of being an outsider is a sign that I have set you apart for a specific kind of covenant relationship, one that is not common and cannot be found in the ordinary traffic of human interaction. You are not finding what you are looking for in the crowd, because what you need is found in the sanctuary, in the holy place where deep calls unto deep. Your inability to fit into the molds of modern dating or casual friendship is a protective hedge I have placed around you to keep you from settling for a counterfeit that would ultimately break your spirit and delay your destiny. There is a restlessness in your spirit that prevents you from becoming complacent with the status quo, a holy dissatisfaction that keeps you searching, reading, listening, and praying for a breakthrough that feels just out of reach. This restlessness is the thirst of a pilgrim who knows they are not home yet, a sign that you are attuned to a frequency of love that is higher than what you are currently experiencing. You cannot just be happy with things as they are because your soul remembers the promise I whispered to you before you were formed, a promise of a love that never fails and a companionship that never ends. I am using this restlessness to keep you moving forward, to keep you from setting up camp in the wilderness of mediocrity, and to drive you closer to the fulfillment of the desires I have planted in your heart. You have a tendency to replay conversations and interactions in your mind, searching for clues of affection or rejection, analyzing tone and intent because your heart is so desperate to be safe and to be sure of where you stand. This hypervigilance is a sign of a soul that has been bruised by instability and is now scanning the horizon for threats, thirsting for the safety of a love that is consistent and reliable. I see how tired your mind gets from this constant analysis, and I want to replace your anxiety with the assurance of my unchangeable nature, so that you can rest in the knowledge that my love for you is a fixed point that does not fluctuate with the shifting shadows of human emotion. You are looking for a rock to stand on, and I am that rock, the firm foundation where you can build your house without fear of the storms washing it away. You feel a profound grief when you see brokenness in the world or in your own life, a sadness that goes beyond empathy and touches the core of your being, mourning the gap between how things are and how they were meant to be. This grief is a sign of your thirst for the kingdom, for the restoration of all things, and for the realization of the perfect love that casts out all fear and wipes away every tear. Your heart breaks because it is aligned with mine, and you are feeling a fraction of the sorrow I feel for a world that has turned away from love itself. This heaviness you carry is not a symptom of depression, but a symptom of spiritual depth, a sign that you are ready to be a vessel of my healing love, once you allow me to fill you and heal your own wounds first. You struggle to find words to explain your loneliness to others because it is not just a lack of people, but a lack of resonance, a feeling of being unseen even when you are looked at and unheard even when you are speaking. This ineffable loneliness is a sign that your soul is crying out for its creator, for the one who knit you together and knows the number of hairs on your head and the thoughts in your mind before you speak them. No human being can fully solve this specific ache, for it is a God-shaped vacuum that only I can fill, and the frustration you feel in trying to explain it is a sign that you are looking for divine understanding in human places. I hear what you cannot say, I understand what you cannot explain, and I am the answer to the riddle of your solitude. Finally, you have a persistent hope that refuses to die, a tiny spark that glows in the ashes of your disappointment, believing that somewhere, somehow, love is real and it is coming for you. This resilience is the ultimate sign of my spirit at work within you, keeping the thirst alive because the water is on its way, preventing you from becoming completely cynical or hard-hearted. You may feel like you are barely holding on, but the fact that you are still here, still listening, and still hoping is proof that your thirst is a holy thing, a golden thread connecting you to the future I have prepared for you. Trust this sign, for it is the evidence of things not seen, the assurance that your waiting is not in vain, and that your thirst will soon turn into a testimony of my faithfulness. I want to speak now to the struggles that have risen from this unquenched thirst, starting with the painful reality that you have often settled for crumbs of affection simply to avoid the crushing weight of loneliness. You have allowed people to take seats at the table of your life who did not deserve to be there, accepting their bare minimum effort and telling yourself it was enough because the alternative of being alone felt too terrifying to bear. I have watched you lower your standards bit by bit, compromising your dignity for the sake of companionship, and my heart has grieved to see you accept scraps when you are royalty in my kingdom. You do not have to starve yourself to keep people around, and you do not have to be grateful for mistreatment just because it comes wrapped in the guise of relationship. I want to raise you up to a place where you know your worth so deeply that you would rather walk alone with me than sit at a table where you are not honored. You have struggled with confusing attention with affection, mistaking the momentary spotlight of someone's interest for the warm, steady sunlight of true love. And this confusion has led you into cycles of hope and disappointment. When someone looks at you, compliments you, or spends time with you, your thirsty heart rushes to attach meaning to it, hoping that this is finally the water you have been looking for, only to realize later that it was a mirage. Attention is cheap and can be given by anyone for selfish reasons. But affection is a sacrificial pouring out of the soul that seeks your good above its own. I want to heal your vision so that you can discern the difference, protecting your heart from those who only want to consume your light without adding any oil to your lamp, and guiding you toward connections that are rooted in the truth of my love. There is a pattern in your life of overgiving to keep people near, pouring out your time, your energy, your resources, and your heart in a desperate bid to make yourself indispensable to them. You believe that if you give enough, if you are helpful enough, if you are supportive enough, they will never leave you. But this is a transaction, not a relationship, and it leaves you drained and resentful when the ledger doesn't balance. You are buying love with your labor, and it is a price that is too high to pay, for true love is a gift that cannot be bought and does not need to be earned. I want you to stop striving to secure your place in people's lives through overfunctioning, and start resting in the truth that you are lovable simply because you exist, not because of what you do for others. You carry a deep-seated feeling of embarrassment about needing love, feeling like a child who is asking for too much, and this shame causes you to silence your own voice and minimize your own needs. You look at your desire for connection and label it as clingy or desperate, judging yourself harshly for having a heart that was designed to be connected. And this self-judgment creates a wall between you and the very love you seek. There is no shame in being thirsty, and there is no shame in admitting that you cannot survive on your own. It is the pride of the world that tells you independence is the highest virtue. I want to wash away this embarrassment and replace it with the dignity of a child who knows they are entitled to their father's care, empowering you to speak your needs without apologizing for your humanity. Fear has whispered to you that asking for love makes you weak, that showing your vulnerability gives others the power to hurt you. And so, you have built walls of self-protection that keep pain out but also keep love out. You have learned to be the strong one, the listener, the shoulder for everyone else to cry on, while your own tears remain unshed and your own needs remain unspoken. This is a lonely strength, a fortress that has become a prison, and I am here to dismantle it brick by brick with the gentle hands of grace. True strength is found in vulnerability, in the courage to say, I need you, and I am hurting, and please hold me. For it is in these moments of openness that my power is made perfect in your weakness. You have struggled with the haunting thought that perhaps you are destined to be alone, that maybe love is for other people but not for you. And this lie has taken root in your mind like a poisonous weed. You look at your past failures and your current solitude and interpret them as a life sentence, resigning yourself to a future of isolation while your heart quietly breaks. I want to uproot this lie today and plant the seed of hope in its place, for your story is not over, and your past is not a prophecy of your future. I am the God of new beginnings, the God who makes a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, and I have not written a tragedy for your life, but a romance of redemption that will surprise you with its joy. There is a struggle within you to trust again after being hurt, a hesitancy to open the door of your heart because the last time you did, thieves came in and stole your peace. You want to love, but your survival instinct is screaming at you to run away, to shut down, to stay safe in the numbness of detachment. This internal war between your desire for connection and your fear of pain is exhausting, leaving you stuck in a limbo of indecision. I am not asking you to trust people blindly. I am asking you to trust me to be the gatekeeper of your heart, to give me the key so that I can decide who enters and who stays outside. When your trust is anchored in me, you can risk loving again because you know that even if people fail you, I will never let you fall. You have often found yourself in the role of the counselor or the therapist in your relationships, attracting people who are broken and need fixing, hoping that if you heal them, they will finally love you the way you need to be loved. This is a trap that drains your spirit and leaves you empty, for you are seeking to be a savior to others when you need a savior yourself. You pour into these black holes of neediness, thinking it is noble, but in reality, it is a way to avoid your own need for care by focusing on someone else's mess. I want to release you from the burden of fixing others and give you permission to be the one who is cared for, the one who is nurtured, the one who receives without having to give anything in return. You struggle with a sense of unworthiness, a quiet voice that tells you that you are too much for some people and not enough for others, leaving you feeling like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit anywhere. You try to shrink yourself to be less intense, or you try to inflate yourself to be more impressive, constant shape-shifting that leaves you not knowing who you really are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, and your intensity is not a defect. It is the capacity for deep passion that I placed within you. You do not need to change your shape to fit into the small spaces of other people's limitations. You need to find the space I have prepared for you, where your fullness is celebrated and your depth is cherished. The struggle of waiting is wearing you down, the endless days and nights of praying for a breakthrough that hasn't come yet, leading to a spiritual fatigue that makes it hard to keep believing. You wonder if I have forgotten you, if your prayers are getting lost in the heavenly realms, and you are tempted to take matters into your own hands and force a solution. Waiting is active work, not passive delay. It is the forging of your character and the expansion of your capacity to receive what is coming. Do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not faint. The wait is not a denial, but a preparation for a blessing that is too heavy for a weak character to carry. You have struggled with the envy that creeps in when you see others receiving the very things you have been praying for, feeling a pang of jealousy that you immediately try to suppress because you know it's not right. You see engagements, marriages, deep friendships, and happy families, and while you want to rejoice with them, a part of you screams, "When is it my turn?" This envy is a symptom of your thirst turning into bitterness, and I want to wash it away with the assurance that I have enough blessings for everyone. Another person's victory does not mean your defeat. Their harvest does not deplete my storehouse. I have a custom-made blessing with your name on it, and it will not be given to another. You have compromised your boundaries in the past, allowing people to trespass on your emotional and spiritual property, because you were afraid that setting limits would drive them away. You let them speak to you disrespectfully, treat your time as unimportant, and disregard your feelings, all in the name of keeping the peace. But a peace that is kept at the expense of your dignity is a false peace. It is merely a ceasefire in a war against your soul. I want to teach you how to build healthy walls with gates, boundaries that define who you are and protect the sacred ground of your heart, so that those who enter treat you with the honor you deserve as my child. There is a struggle with the fear of abandonment that triggers panic whenever someone pulls away or goes silent, causing you to cling tighter and push them further away. This fear stems from old wounds where people you trusted left you without explanation, leaving you with the belief that everyone will eventually leave. I want to heal this abandonment wound with the reality of my omnipresence. I am the God who says, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." People may come and go, but I am the constant, the anchor that holds firm in the shifting tides of life. When you are secure in my presence, the departure of others will no longer shatter your world. You often feel misunderstood, as if you are speaking from a depth that others cannot reach, And this leads to a struggle with isolation even when you are surrounded by people. You try to share your heart, but you are met with blank stares or superficial advice, and you retreat back into your shell, deciding it is safer to be silent than to be misunderstood. I understand your language, my child. I speak the dialect of the deep. You do not have to simplify yourself for me. Bring your complex, layered, profound thoughts to me, and I will meet you there with perfect understanding and communion. You have struggled with the temptation to numb your thirst with distractions, social media, food, entertainment, work, anything to silence the aching void for a few hours. You scroll mindlessly, you eat when you are not hungry, you binge-watch shows to live vicariously through characters, all to avoid sitting in the quiet with your own longing. These anesthetics wear off, leaving the pain sharper than before. I invite you to put down the distractions and face the thirst, for it is only by acknowledging it that you can bring it to the living water. Do not be afraid of the quiet. It is in the quiet that I speak the loudest. You carry the burden of what if, playing out catastrophic scenarios in your mind where you end up alone, unloved and forgotten, and this anxiety paralyses you in the present. You are living in a future that has not happened and may never happen, suffering in advance for troubles that are not real. What if is the language of fear, even if is the language of faith. Even if the worst happens, I am there. Even if you walk through the valley, I am with you. Come back to the present moment, for that is where I am, and that is where my grace is sufficient for you. You struggle with the feeling that you have missed your window, that you are too old, too damaged, or too late to find the love you desire. You look at the calendar and feel the pressure of time, counting the years and wondering if your best days are behind you. I am the Redeemer of time. I can restore the years the locusts have eaten. I am not bound by biological clocks or societal timelines. Moses started his mission at 80. Sarah received her promise at 90. Your life is not measured by chronological time, but by divine timing. It is never too late for a new beginning with me. You have a habit of internalizing rejection, believing that if someone does not love you, it is because you are unlovable, rather than considering that they may be unable to love or that they are simply not the right fit. You take every no as a verdict on your value, letting it define your self-worth. Rejection is often God's protection, a redirection away from something that would have harmed you or limited you. Do not let the inability of others to see your worth blind you to the value I have placed upon you. You are precious in my sight, honored and loved. You struggle with the exhaustion of being the strong one who never asks for help, the one everyone relies on, while you secretly wish someone would notice that you are drowning. You carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, fearing that if you drop it, everything will fall apart. You are not the atlas of your world. I am. You can set the weight down. You can admit you are tired. You can let others carry their own loads. I am calling you to a Sabbath of the soul, a rest from the heavy labor of holding everything together. You have fought battles in your mind regarding your physical appearance, believing that if you were more attractive, thinner, or different, you would be loved more. You look in the mirror and see flaws where I see a masterpiece, criticizing the vessel I crafted with my own hands. Your worth is not in your skin, your shape, or your features. It is in the light of my spirit that shines through you. True love sees the soul, not just the shell. I want to heal your relationship with yourself so that you can see the beauty that I see. Finally, you struggle with the fear that your thirst is a punishment, that you are being denied love because of some past sin or failure that has disqualified you. You search your history for the error that caused this drought, thinking that if you repent enough, the rain will come. My child, there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Your thirst is not a punishment, it is a pathway. It is not a sign of my anger, but of my severe mercy, drawing you away from lesser loves so that you can be filled with the greatest love. Stop punishing yourself for being human and start receiving the grace that covers it all. Now receive this revelation. Your thirst is not a defect, nor is it a glitch in your system that needs to be fixed. It is the most profound evidence that you were made for a covenant relationship with the divine. The very fact that nothing in this finite world can satisfy you is proof that you are an infinite being, created for an infinite love that only I can provide. You are trying to fill a canyon with a cup of water, and your frustration is simply the realization that the cup is too small. I designed you with this vast capacity for love, so that you would inevitably find your way to me, the ocean of love that has no bottom and no shore. Understand that I do not shame your needs, I heal them. The world tells you to suppress your desire, to detach, to be stoic, but I tell you to bring your desire to me and let me sanctify it. Your need for love is the engine of your spirituality, the driving force that propels you out of self-sufficiency and into the arms of your Father. When you try to kill your thirst, you kill the part of you that seeks me. Instead of suppressing it, redirect it. Let your longing be the prayer that never ceases, the groan of the Spirit within you calling out, Abba, Father. The truth is, when love is secure in me, you stop chasing and start choosing. When you know that you are already loved with an everlasting love, you no longer approach relationships as a beggar seeking a crust of bread, but as a king or queen who has a treasure to share. The desperation fades, replaced by a quiet confidence that allows you to discern who is worthy of access to your heart. You stop trying to convince people to love you and start observing who is capable of loving you. This shift from chasing to choosing changes everything. It restores your power and protects your peace. This season of thirst has been a refining fire, burning away the impurities of codependency and idolatry so that your heart can be pure gold. I have been stripping away the false props you leaned on so that you would learn to lean entirely on me. It has been painful, yes, but it has also been necessary. For I cannot build a skyscraper of faith on a foundation of sand. I am digging deep into your soul, making room for a structure of love that will withstand the storms of life. What felt like destruction was actually construction. I am building you into a sanctuary where my spirit can dwell. You must realize that your value does not fluctuate based on who accepts or rejects you. Your value was settled at the cross. You were bought with a price, the highest price ever paid, which means you are the most valuable thing in the universe to me. No human opinion can add to that value, and no rejection can subtract from it. When you truly grasp this revelation, you become bulletproof to the opinions of man. You can walk into a room with your head held high, not because of arrogance, but because of the assurance that you are a child of the Most High God. The loneliness you have felt is actually a sacred enclosure, a hedge of protection keeping out those who would harm you or distract you from your purpose. If I had given you what you wanted when you wanted it, you might have settled for a relationship that would have pulled you away from your destiny. I have kept you to myself for a season, so that I could whisper secrets to you that you would not have heard in the noise of a crowd. This solitude is not a sentence. It is a seminary, a place of learning and growth where you are being prepared for the weight of glory. You are not too much. You are a vast ocean of emotion and depth, and you simply need someone who knows how to swim. Do not apologize for the depth I gave you. The right people, the ones I am sending, will not be intimidated by your intensity. They will be refreshed by it. They will see your depth not as a burden, but as a treasure to be explored. Until they arrive, let me be the one who dives deep with you. Let me be the one who handles your emotions, your questions, and your fears. I am the only one who can handle all of you without being overwhelmed. The waiting is not wasted time, it is active preparation. While you are waiting for the external circumstances to change, I am changing your internal reality. I am expanding your capacity for patience, for kindness, for self-control. I am teaching you how to be happy in the hallway while you wait for the door to open. If I open the door now, you might walk through it with the baggage of the past. I am giving you time to unpack, to heal, to forgive, so that when the new season begins, you can step into it light and free. Your sensitivity is your superpower. In a world that has grown cold and hard, your soft heart is a beacon of light. Do not let the world harden you. Keep your heart tender, for it is through the cracks in your heart that my light shines the brightest. Your ability to feel deeply allows you to empathize, to comfort, and to love in a way that heals others. It is a priestly gift, allowing you to stand in the gap for those who are hurting. Protect it, treasure it, but do not despise it. God is not withholding love from you. He is preserving you for love. There is a difference. Withholding implies stinginess. Preserving implies value. You do not put fine china in the dishwasher. You hand wash it with care. You do not leave a diamond lying in the street. You keep it in a safe. I am keeping you safe, preserving your heart from further damage until the time is right. Trust the keeper of your soul. He knows the timing, he knows the seasons, and he knows exactly what you need. The thirst you feel is a prophetic sign that a river is coming. In the natural, thirst precedes drinking. Hunger precedes eating. The intensity of your spiritual thirst is an indicator of the magnitude of the outpouring that I am preparing to release into your life. You are not feeling this for no reason. You are sensing the rain before the first drop falls. Lift up your head, for your redemption draws nigh. The clouds are gathering, and the sound of abundance of rain is in the air. You must stop looking for the living among the dead. You cannot find life in relationships that are dead, in habits that are dead, in places that are dead. I am the God of the living. Look for me in the land of the living. Look for me in communities of faith, in acts of service, in the beauty of creation, in the quiet of the morning. Shift your focus from what you lack to what you have, and watch how the landscape changes. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the gates of abundance. Realize that you are already in a covenant relationship. You are the bride of Christ. This is not just a metaphor, it is a spiritual reality. You have a husband who is perfect, faithful, rich in mercy, and strong to save. You are not single in the spirit, you are betrothed. Let this truth settle deep in your bones. You are not alone. You are walking down the aisle of life with the lover of your soul holding your hand. Let this divine romance satisfy your heart while you wait for human companionship. The pain of the past was not a life sentence, it was a lesson. You have learned what love is not, so that you can recognize what love is. You have learned to spot the red flags, so that you can cherish the green ones. You have learned to value yourself, so that you will not accept disrespect. Every tear was a tuition fee in the school of wisdom. You are graduating now, wiser, stronger, and more beautiful than before. The scars you carry are not marks of shame. They are stripes of a warrior who has survived the battle. I am calling you to a love that is without fear. Perfect love casts out fear. When you know that I hold your future, you do not have to fear the unknown. When you know that I am your provider, you do not have to fear lack. When you know that I am your defender, you do not have to fear attack. Step out of the prison of fear and into the playground of faith. Love is a risk, yes, but with me, it is a risk worth taking. Finally, know this. Your story is being written by the best author in existence. I do not write tragedies for my children. I write comedies in the classical sense, stories that end in a wedding and a feast. The chapters of sorrow are necessary for the plot, but they are not the end of the book. Turn the page with expectation. The best chapters are yet to come. The climax of your story is not despair, it is glory. Trust the pen in my hand. I want to encourage you now to take a practical step. Name your need plainly. Stop speaking in code, stop hinting, and stop expecting people to read your mind. Say to me and admit to yourself, I need comfort. I need safety. I need care. There is power in confession. When you bring your need into the light, it loses its power to shame you. I can handle your honesty. Tell me exactly what hurts, exactly what you crave. I am listening with a compassionate ear. Choose one relationship habit to change today. Perhaps it is time to stop over-texting someone who replies with one word. Perhaps it is time to stop over-explaining your decisions to people who do not respect you. Perhaps it is time to stop over-giving to those who do not reciprocate. Choose one small boundary and hold it. This small act of self-respect will begin to rebuild the walls of your city. It sends a message to your own soul that you are worth protecting. Build one daily fill-up rhythm that is just for you and me. It doesn't have to be long, 10 minutes of silence, a walk in the garden, listening to a worship song, writing 3 things you are grateful for. Create a sanctuary in time where the world cannot enter. This is your refueling station. If you do this daily, you will find that your thirst becomes manageable and your spirit becomes steady. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Take the time to fill it. I encourage you to look at the people around you with new eyes. Stop looking for the one and start looking for the ones. The friends, the mentors, the family members who are already there. Love comes in many forms, not just romantic. There is love in a shared meal, in a kind word, in a helping hand. Do not despise the small loves while you wait for the big one. Gather the manna that is on the ground today. It is enough to sustain you. Forgive yourself for the times you looked for love in the wrong places. You were thirsty, you did not know better. I have forgiven you, now you must forgive you. Release the regret. Release the I should have known better. Be gentle with your past self. She was doing the best she could with what she knew. Embrace your present self with compassion. You are growing. You are learning. You are on a journey. I want you to practice the presence of God in your loneliness. When the ache hits you, instead of reaching for your phone, reach for me. Say, Lord, I feel lonely right now. Be my companion. Invite me into the empty room. I promise I will meet you there. You will start to feel a peace that passes understanding, a warmth that has no physical source. You will realize that you are never truly alone. Speak life over your future. Instead of saying, I will always be alone, say, I am being prepared for a great love. Instead of saying, no one wants me, say, I am a treasure hidden in a field waiting to be found. Your words have power. They act as rudders steering the ship of your life. Steer towards hope. Steer towards promise. Agree with what I say about you, not what your fear says about you. Let go of the timeline. Release the "by this age I should have" thinking. It is a trap. Give your calendar to me. Trust that my timing is perfect. I am never late. I am never early. I am always right on time. Relax into the flow of my will. Stressing about time only steals your joy in the present. Enjoy the season you are in. There are gifts in this season that you will miss if you are always looking at the next one. Remember that you are a vessel of love, not just a consumer. You have love to give. Find someone who needs what you have. A kind word to a cashier, a letter to a lonely relative, a prayer for a stranger. When you give love, you activate the flow of love in your own life. You become a conduit. The pipe that carries the water gets wet first. As you water others, you will be watered yourself. My child, I am wrapping you in a blanket of my peace right now. Feel the weight of it settling on your shoulders. Breathe in my grace. Breathe out your worry. You are safe. You are held. You are seen. You are known. You are loved. Let this truth be the lullaby that sings you to sleep tonight. You do not have to strive anymore. You can rest. I invite you to stay close to this source of encouragement. If this message has watered your thirsty soul, consider staying connected here to receive more whispers of hope and healing in the days to come. It is not a command, but an invitation to walk together on this journey of faith. I have so much more to say to you, so many more truths to reveal. Until then, keep your eyes on me, keep your heart open, and remember, I am the water that never runs dry.